Okay. Right, so just about a minute to go so we get started, guys. Now I'll walk you through the nice workout. First, don't be alarmed by the course I've chosen. Okay. Would one of you guys just mind confirming that my sound is coming through okay? I was it a couple of weeks ago. I came through sounding, yeah, it's all good. Came through sounding like Mickey Mouse. Yeah, that was a stressful evening. Yeah, so in our chat we're also going to be talking about strength training. I know you guys know a fair bit, but I actually thought it would be useful just to really take it back to basics. Because sometimes I think there's questions, some of the really basic questions that people often me, I don't know, a little bit nervous to ask. And sometimes as a coach, I think it's really easy to take it for granted that people know certain things. So I'm just going to go back to some basics when it comes to strength training. But we'll just get going first. So starting out with erg mode on. We've got sprint sets this evening, so we will be turning the session erg mode off. But don't be alarmed by the course, okay? So I'll just go through the erg mode chat quickly. But when we come to the sprint, there is this button down here. Turn erg mode off. You press it once, it goes to terrain. And then you'll be on a very long hill, as you can see. Or you press it twice more, ignore external. That's only if you've got an external parameter. You go to fixed, then the trainer will simulate a perfectly flat gradient. That would be my recommended setting once the time comes. We get towards the sprint. The reason I've chosen this hill is for the more experienced guys. If you struggle with spinning out a little bit or lacking resistance when it comes to sprint, then you could set it to terrain and you'll just have a little bit of extra pushback from the trainer as you'll be on this pretty steady climb. I'll repeat all that, don't worry. For now though, erg mode on. Does annoy me that the thing disappears. Anyway, so for right now, we're just nice and chilled. One of the changes to Training Peaks Virtual, which I'm not a fan of, is this new ramp thing. So this should be, as per normal, every 2 minutes, the power increases by about 4%. But it is now started interpreting it as a long ramp, and so it drip feeds the power in. Plus and minuses to that. Personally, I don't like it. I want to, every 2 minutes it's going to be an increase, and so I can adapt my cadence. Anyway, it's not interesting. So tonight's session, we have a dedicated sprint set. Nice long warm up, some fast pedaling efforts, a little short ramp to really get us going, like what we call a pre-main set. And then basically the session, guys, is we've got 3 rounds of 5 sprints. 4 of them are going to be 20 seconds, and then we're just going to go a little bit longer with the 5th one. It's going to be 30 seconds. Tons of easy recovery in between. Okay, about 8 minutes of easy spinning in between, and we've got basically 3 rounds of that format. So 3 rounds of 5 sprints. Okay, so tonight we're very much working on that neuromuscular power, that explosivity, that top end power. So hopefully before you came onto the session, you had a little look at your peak power curve, your power duration curve, whatever terminology you want to use. The one Training Peaks isn't that great. Hopefully, if you're maintaining Golden Cheetah, or if you're one of the guys on Pillar, you had a quick check, just so you know what your 20-second power is, your 30-second power, and also your 5-minute power, because one young man on tonight has the goal of consistently getting over 1,000 watts, 5-second power. So we'll have a look You can achieve that tonight. In terms of our chat, yeah, I'll get on it basically. Got a nice long 20-minute warm up, so I'll get into it now, and hopefully we can get all the chat done, and then you guys can just concentrate on smashing some hard sprints. So basically, yeah, I wanted to talk to you guys about training. It was an opportunity to go right to basics, because no one really teaches you how to do strength training. Well, prior to having a coach, that is. You know, at school or whatever, it's rare that you get taught strength and conditioning principles and best practice. And just a reminder to the squad guys, if you're ever unsure about your strength training, you're not sure about certain exercises, how to perform them, where you should be feeling it, then give me a shout and we can use our catch-up sessions to go through a few things. I've done that quite a bit recently, and I like it. It certainly makes me feel that my guys know what they're doing. So just a reminder about that. So I've structured this chat as kind of like a frequently asked questions. I was just thinking what are the most common questions that people ask. And the first one is, for strength training, like how many reps and sets? And it's the age-old coach response. It depends. It basically depends what your objectives are, what phase of training you're in. So just as like a very kind of quick overview, if you haven't been doing much strength training, you come back from injury or illness, long-term illness, you basically, like your cardiovascular training, you need to reintroduce your body to strength work. So your initial phase would be kind of like a preparation phase, where you do kind of relatively low loading and the higher reps. It's up to 12 to 15 reps per set. Okay, a max strength phase would be the opposite. You'd really increase the loading, much closer to a one rep max, and drop the number of reps. So 6 to 8 reps, something like that, and really kind of loading yourself up and looking to make strength gains and build muscle mass. And then there are other phases. You might be, if you're more experienced, you might be working on a power phase, so plyometric work, sort of Olympic lifts, box jumps, stuff like that. Now for that, it's all about quality. So it starts to get a bit more subjective and a little bit more grey. But basically, I think a way of putting it is, if you're struggling and your rep isn't kind of like, you're not feeling strong and powerful, then you've probably gone beyond kind of your phosphocreatine system. So that's what you're trying to hit. And you're really trying to hit its fast twitch muscle fibers. So and hopefully it depends. But I'd say like the two main phases, you got your preparation phase, where maybe you work on mobility, more on the strength, higher reps, lower loading, and then the other phase is that max phase. High loading, lower number of reps. That's just kind of in a nutshell, kind of how reps and sets can be manipulated for a different purpose. If you're unsure, really, I would err on the side of caution, go lighter, more reps. But if you start doing more than about 15 and you're kind of into the 30s in terms of reps, it's not really strength training, it's more kind of cardiovascular training. So when it comes to strength training, full stop, your mindset shouldn't be, I want to get my heart rate up, I want to feel burn, because that burn, that's cardiovascular training. What you want is to hit your muscles with a stimulus that's going to make them grow, get stronger, more powerful. And I'll say something about HIIT training towards the end of the chat, but really the number of reps is shouldn't be too many. You want something that's gonna hit you with a strength building stimulus rather than a cardiovascular one, okay? Sets, really depends. Mostly depends on time, to be honest. I'd say 3 sets is pretty usual. If you're doing a max strength phase, you might increase the number of sets. But typically for endurance athletes, they don't have the time to spend, several hours at the gym, and most of them don't enjoy strength training. So it's more about just kind of getting them in and out, getting a stimulus, get some high quality work done, and then getting them out of there. Sorry, I just have to turn my fan on. See, I started really cold. I'm warm very quickly. Another question, frequently asked question is, how many weeks? Again, it does depend. How many weeks you follow a plan for, I would suggest, really depends on your consistency. So for me, somewhere between 6 to 8 good weeks, you will see significant strength improvement if you're kind of following the principles I'll talk about in a second. But yeah, 6 to 8 weeks generally, I would say. Any more than that, you do tend to get a bit bored and start to plateau. So yeah, you want to be doing, you can't work on everything all at once. So you do need to change up your program periodically in order to kind of hit your body with a different stimulus each time. Okay? Getting a lot of dropout. Trainer. Let me just check something quickly. Make sure it's picked up. That one. On the plus. I tend to get interference if I'm connected by Bluetooth. So yeah, how many weeks? I say 6 to 8 before you start to get bored. How many times a week? Basically, this comes down to how much capacity you have. Okay? Mindful of the fact that you're an endurance athlete and not a gym bunny. So I suggest most endurance athletes average 1 or 2 sessions a week. Got some doing 3 and 4, but that's usually for a specific reason, injury or injury prevention. But it's basically as much as you can fit in your program, and it needs to be balanced against your cardiovascular training and just match up with your goals basically. How long should a session take? This is always a discussion point. Less than an hour in an ideal world. If you spend too long in the gym and you're not following like almost like a bodybuilding type plan, then more than an hour and your session will start to get catabolic, which means you'll get muscle breakdown rather than anabolic, so muscle growth. It's kind of linked to the point about whether your strength training is cardiovascular training or strength training. Actually, your strength stimulus it's going to be quite short in duration, okay? And if it's taking you, if you're following one of our plans and it's taking you less than an hour, then talk to us. You probably need to change your approach and be a bit more dynamic in your approach and more efficient, and there's some really easy ways to do that. Yeah, if you are just really struggling to keep the duration down, or perhaps you struggle for capacity, you just got time constraints, then one thing you can do is split a session into 2. So a really common way is to split it into upper body and lower body. You do lower body one day, upper body another day. Go on, I'm just not catching up with the mouth here. And so yeah, you can split it up, into maybe like 2 30-minute sessions. If you struggle, that's also a good one if you struggle for motivation. A really dynamic, focused 30-minute session is better than not going at all. Or if you don't like going to the gym, it's a a good way of kind of getting you in and out quickly. There's also, when it comes to splitting sessions, there's a well-known technique whereby you can do kind of 2 or 3 sets of your program in the morning and then repeat it, maybe do 1, max 2 sets in the evening, and you can get huge stimulus in that sort of training. I used to do that a lot when I was playing rugby. We maybe do 2 sets of everything in the morning, rest up, come back in the evening, and do another round of everything. And I found that really effective. But not always appropriate for endurance athletes. They don't tend to have a whole free day like that. But something to remember if you're maybe off season, you've got big strength training goals, perhaps something can work quite nicely. How quickly should you perform an exercise? Again, it depends on the exercise and depends if you're maybe doing something explosive or not. But just for like general lifting purposes, I would say kind of 3 seconds on the eccentric phase. So the lowering, like the sort of easier phase. So for instance, squatting, the lowering down phase. And then 2 seconds for the concentric phase. So when you're kind of closing the joint angle. So with squats, coming back up, 2 seconds. Or a bicep curl, you do 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2. Hope that makes sense. Whatever approach you take, it doesn't have to be 3 to 2. Make sure, unless you are doing plyometric work, that you are performing the exercise smoothly, with good form, and relatively slowly. So if you're roughing around, sort of grunting and groaning, throwing weights around, trying to be the big dog, generally speaking, again, you start to slip into a cardiovascular training. And also, when you're not taking your time over it and being mindful of your form, what tends to happen is the isolation of the muscles that you're trying to hit starts to drift. So as an example, split squats, unilateral exercise, if you start to kind of mess around with that, do it too quickly, what happens is you probably aren't getting much depth in your squat, and the stabilizer muscles are just working overdrive. And so in terms of hitting that kind of gluteus maximus and top of your hamstring, it's the primary muscle focus, then yeah, you can drift a little bit on that. Okay, so performing slowly and under control is the message there. Next question, how low or how far to go? Not an easy one to answer without specific examples, but you need to think about your joint angles. Because basically every exercise involves 1 or more joints, and you need to think about what they should look like as you're performing the exercise. So as a general rule, you're probably looking for a 45 to 90 degree bend. So in your knee, for example, or your bicep, that elbow joint actually is going through probably a larger range than 90. But hopefully you kind of get the point. In programs you set, we're always saying like, drop down to your hip angles at 90 degrees or your knees at 90 degrees. This is the stuff that matters, is that it's kind of telling you how low you should go, basically. So one last one before I come back thinking about the workout. How much recovery between sets? So for me, you want to be properly recovered between sets. If you are following a proper strength plan, this kind of mindset of maintaining a high heart rate, etc., it's not really applicable, because what you actually want is to be recovered to kind of hit your body with a big stimulus again. But if you're gas and you can only achieve far fewer reps, or you're doing it rubbish because you're knackered, haven't got your breath back, it's going to be low quality. So I would say somewhere around sort of 2 to 3 minutes recovery. And if you do struggle for time, keeping your sessions under an hour, timing that recovery, recording it, getting a stopwatch can be a good way to keep you moving. Right, so 30 seconds, and then we're just going to hit some 10 on, 10 off. So it's going to be 10 seconds at around threshold, followed by 10 easy seconds. I've done that 5 times. Okay, so ready to go? Still in erg mode. Ready? Here we go. So power on, really lift the leg speed. And relax. Ready? Go again. And relax. Something weird's going on with my trainer this evening. Ready? 1, go. Round 3. Focus on really lifting the leg speed. Upwards of 100 RPM. 2, 1. Okay, 2 more rounds. Ready? Here we go. And relax. Lots around coming up. This is just to lift your default cadence. Switch on the fast twitch muscle fibers. Ready? Here we go. Three, 2, 1. Yeah, and relax. Back down, sort of a 3 out of 10 effort, or a 4 out of 10 effort. Got a couple of minutes before we start a quick little ramp. So this ramp is going to be a minute at tempo, around 80% of FTP, 30 seconds at threshold, and then 15 seconds, sort of around 130% of FTP. So this ramp is going to be our 3 main sets, the last bit of the warm up, and then we're going to turn that mode off. Now though, just focus on getting your breath back, little sips of fluids. And bring your leg speed back above 80 RPM. Five seconds, just lifting up to a 6 out of 10 effort, 80% of FTP. Here we go. So you should start to feel strong, not particularly hard though. Try and relax. Draw the shoulders away from the ears. Get the chin lifted. 30 seconds, then we'll lift it up. Lift up the effort of it. Let's go from 6 to an 8. Just 30 seconds before we do hard effort. Final opportunity to kind of wake yourself up, get yourself going. Seconds. Get ready, guys. Okay, up to 100% of FTP, 8 out of 10 effort. Cadence wise, let's get above 90 RPM. Try and hold it. Okay, ready to go hard. 15 seconds in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lots of seconds. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, before we forget, let's start getting erg mode off. So, moving to a fixed resistance. Okay. For those guys that are particularly strong and need a bit of extra resistance, then you can move to terrain mode, which will simulate kind of long ass hill. Okay, we'll do some more talk in the recovery. Got those 5 sprints and then 8-minute break. So 30 time to chat, and I'll be really encouraging you guys to answer some questions in that 8-minute gaps about strength training or anything else really. So yeah, just start populating your mind with a few questions. Yeah. It's tumbleweed. For the guys on Discord, your voice won't be broadcast, your image won't be broadcast on the stream, so don't worry. And there are no stupid questions. For now though, let's relax. Erg mode is off, remember. Got about 90 seconds till we hit the first sprint. Tuck your shoes up a touch. Get ready to go. Last little sip of goods. So, for those guys that are in terrain mode, what I'm doing on, right up on the set in the small ring at the moment, and 30 seconds before the first sprint, I'll shift into the big ring and move down a couple of sprockets, and then 10 seconds before, I'll drop right down the set where I think I can sprint from. Might be a little bit of cross chaining involved. So for me, it's not such a big deal because this is a bike that I've built from bits left around the garage. So for me, I don't really care about cross chaining, but if you've got a nice fancy bike on the turbo, you might want to be a bit careful with that. Although to be honest, having your bike on the turbo destroys the chain anyway, so I would always recommend changing your chain after the winter, sorry. Okay, get ready to go then guys. 10 seconds till we hit the first sprint. Don't think about it. Let's go. Okay, ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ten. 5, 2, 1. Relax. Minute and 40 in between. Spin up. Don't worry too much about the power target. Just spin up. Get your breath back. Green canes back above. 80 RPM. Okay, 45 seconds. Here we go again. That's round 1 done. Got 3 more 20-second efforts, and then 1 30-second effort. struggling to get back into the big room. That's one of the downsides, having a turbo work. Okay guys, off you go. Sorry, I'm just trying to get into gear. 10 seconds. 5, 3, 2, 1. Relax. Relaxing, guys. So if you're looking at the workout and you're thinking, bloody hell, there's 53 minutes left. Skip training pieces. Uploaded the wrong workout. I'll straighten, but don't worry. Nothing's changed. There's just basically a sort of 20-minute cruising period at the end of the workout, which I often give to people, but we just won't do that, so don't worry. We're not going to be here for another hour. We're ready to go. 10. Ready? Here we go. Ten. Last 5. Yes. 3 down. 1 more at 20 seconds. Okay guys, wait 1 second. There we go. Sorry about that, guys. One of the problems with being on a train like this is that it's harder to switch between big ring and little ring. Okay. Okay, 30 seconds. Here we go. Again at 20 seconds. So your cadence should be ideally a lot higher than mine. Upwards of 80. Ready to go again in a few seconds. 5, 3, 2, 1. Off we go. This shit hot. 5, 3, 2, and 1.
Take it because you want it. Don't need permission because you already own it. Don't need to fake it because you want it. Don't need permission because you already own it. Bring me back, bring me back.
Bring me back to fix. Actually, manage my gear properly. Just on a minute. This time we go for longer. Okay? 30 seconds. So just bear that in mind when you kick.
This shit hot.
Think it though.
Take it because you want it. Don't need permission because you already own it. Don't need to fake it because you want it. Don't need permission because you already own it. Bring me back, bring me back, bring me back, bring me back.
20 seconds, get ready to go. Okay, 3 seconds, ready? Okay, hit it, come on, 30 seconds. Less than 20. Ten. 5, 3, 2. Well done, guys. Relax. Well, everyone.
Pages to raise the roof, we paid in full. The legend of leaders eager to break the rules. It's April Fools, we shining and grinding, increasing revenue. And lately I've been feeling like, wait, don't let me kill the vibe. Corona on the islands, in the States we drinking Miller Lite. I'm feeling like I'm Tom Cruise, falling through vanilla skies. Wide awake, I stay up, I've been working hard on my hills. I've been whipping, turn that wheel, we partying in the hills. Partying in the hills. And you don't know how this feels. We party
Just relax, guys.
in the hills.
Get your breath back.
And you don't know
Start to
how this feels.
have a drink.
And I just
Give it as much time as possible. Get into your system.
when I'm in the zone, I let it all go,
Give it another 30 seconds before I continue to chat. So, eyes aren't blurry, like mine are. It's really hard to sprint and talk. Even just saying how long is left is hard work.
can try me.
So, let's go through some more general questions. Frequently asked questions on strength training. What does supersetting mean? So, in a nutshell, supersetting is when you do 2 exercises back to back and then have some form of recovery. It's a really good way of speeding a session up and get it staying within the hour and ideally sort of sub 45-minute session. Now, as I want to stress, we're not talking about circuit training. You can do sort of 3 exercises back to back, but it needs to be followed by a solid recovery, and it's not done at speed. It's done at your normal rate, but you just putting the exercises together. It's not always appropriate, okay? So basically doing 2 similar exercises back to back, unless you're looking for a specific stimulus, rarely appropriate. So the type of supersetting that we put in our programs are usually antagonistic. So working opposing muscle groups. A classic example is, chest press followed by, bent over row or something like that. You're working your chest muscles, then you're working your back muscles. In a really basic form, that's a antagonistic superset. There can be, we also do kind of do what aren't antagonistic but kind of unrelated exercises. I think it's the easiest way of describing it. So you might do a big compound exercise followed by an isolation exercise. So like a squat exercise followed by a calf exercise, for example. You've done the big compound exercise where your calves are used but not massively, and then followed it by an isolation exercise. that's quite a good way of getting through exercises at a rapid rate. Yeah, or deadlifts followed by some sort of hip stabilizer work, like banded clamshells or something. You know, those stabilizer muscles are working while you're doing a deadlift. Not hugely, it's just a straight up and down exercise, and so you can hit them straight after quite happily. Another question which I always catch people on, not doing the warm-up, or to put it in a question, do I need to do the warm-up? And you know the answer, of course. Lifting is pretty fraught with risk, particularly max strength stuff. You really need to make sure your muscles are warm and loose, and that you have, you know, synovial fluid in your joints, like lubricant in your joints. The older you get, the longer the warm-up you need. And if you're feeling stiff after doing a warm-up, take extra time. For me, classic one is my back feeling a little bit stiff, so I'll take longer. I'll do some more mobility exercises, or hamstring, and I'll do some more leg swings, whatever it is, just to loosen them off a little bit. I'll then, if I do feel a bit stiff, what I also do is I'll perform a really light set of the exercise that I'm meant to be doing, like the big compound exercise, just so I can test it out. And sometimes, if it's just feeling really stiff, I'm like, oh, I've been here before, you know, I've been stiff, and then my hamstring is gone. So I've torn my hamstring a few times, and the most common reasons for strength training, and this is when I was a lot younger, and not warming up properly. Okay, so absolutely essential, particularly in the winter, and particularly if you're doing max strength stuff, you need to be really nice and warm. Next question, how do I progress? So there's a few ways really. You can do more wet reps within the given rep range. So if you're doing sort of 8 to 12 reps, you do 8 reps of a set one week, the next week you try and do 9 or 10 reps. That's a really simple way of progressing. You can increase the loading, but it needs to be very conservative. As a general rule, single limb exercise, max increase of 2.5 kilos, or a bilateral exercise, a 2 limb exercise, max increase of about 5 kgs for kind of safe increase. And then the third way of progression is to improve your form. A really classic example of that is split squats. Really popular exercise with all conditioning coaches, but it can be done very badly. And really what you're looking for with split squats is your back knee to get really close to the ground. Okay? You're not kind of doing that if you're not getting like a good 90-degree bend in that front knee, and you're nice and low, chest is up, hips are straight, then you need to work on form and mobility before you start to load that exercise up. So that's just another way you can progress. Mobility and form. Okay? So a couple more things to discuss. We'll discuss them in the next recovery round. So next round of sprints is coming up in just under a minute. Get yourself ready. Bring the cadence back up above 80 RPM. Lost fluids. Actually, probably wouldn't bother drinking right now. Not got time. Come straight back up. So just lift the power a touch as well, so you have something to work off, rather than a sort of standing, semi-standing start. Okay, ready to go, guys. 10 seconds. Ready? Here we go. Ten seconds. 5, 3, 2, no. And relax. That's round 1 done. Just on a minute. So bring your cakes back above 80 RPM. Get ready for round 2. Seconds, get ready. A little bit extra power. Round 2 in 10 seconds. Ready? 10, 5, 3, 2, 1. That's 2 down. Not sure what's going on with these group dynamics this evening. Sort of dangling in place there, yeah. Yeah, that's 2 down. 2 more. 20-second efforts to go. Try not to look too far ahead. Focus on the next rep. Down after about 25 seconds. So, lifting the power of touch. Lift the leg speed. Get ready to drop the hammer. Ready? 2, 1. Here we go. Ten. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come on guys, just one more. One more at 20 seconds. Well then guys, it's 2 more sprints. We're going to get another lovely 8-minute block of cruising. Power touch. An ultimate sprint in this round coming up in just under 10 seconds. 5, 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Last 10. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1.
Se finí, yo no quiero nada de ti, baby. Si yo fuera malas veces la que me lastimaste, la que en verdad pensaba en mí, chao. Lo nuestro ya se ha terminado. Llévate todas tus cosas de aquí. Que lo de que yo ya no me fío de ti. Baby, es que yo ya no me fío de ti. La caga una y otra vez, sí. Adiós, goodbye, te lo merecí.
Just over a minute.
Porque casi cayó, casi que me lo creí, pero me saló y ahora me curo de ti. Mira, 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 pa' que yo te diga la verdad. Adiós, goodbye.
This last one, remember, is 30 seconds. And you get a lovely, lovely 8-minute recovery. The old song, is that one? Okay. 30 seconds there into the last sprint. Okay, lifted a power touch. Get ready to go. Ready, guys? 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go.
Últimamente ando solo, sin tu beso y sobrepensando todo.
20. 15. 10. 5, 3, 2, and 1. Whew. Funny, guys. It's a nice easy gear. Okay, well done, guys. So we've just got one block of sprints left. So just spin it out, guys. Nice and relaxed. So, just a couple more things to cover on the strength training. A couple other sort of frequently asked questions. We talked about how to progress in the last block of recovery. Now, one question you often get asked is, particularly from people who aren't very experienced and perhaps don't enjoy strength training that much, or haven't historically, we get asked if going to a HIIT class or some sort of group session is a good alternative. The answer is yes and no, mostly no. So for me, strength training is, as most of our athletes will know, is an area where I'm a real stickler, because I find that the sort of strength training industry, the gym industry, whatever you want to call it, so much nonsense and lies. Like it's you know, I won't mention any names, but there's so many well-known people out there spouting absolute rubbish, and it's almost always to sell a product or a service. And it's one of the things that kind of I hate most about the fitness industry is the lack of integrity. So to put it bluntly, when it comes to HIIT training, you know, circuit training, it's just more cardiovascular training. Yes, it's got a strength component, and you will see perhaps small strength gains, but it's pretty much everything I hate. Everything that's not appropriate for endurance athletes. It's usually done at speed with poor form. It's usually a high number of reps or duration based, which means you're not hitting your body with a concentrated stimulus in the muscle groups that you want to provoke. And so yeah, for me, HIIT training is just cardiovascular training, but with a different kind of guise. And it's also one of the things I hate about HIIT training is, you know, we've seen it on numerous occasions, like people just getting ill afterwards. You know, it really hammers your immune system, and then you think about you're using weights that 1,000 other people have touched. You've got people coughing, spluttering in a poorly ventilated room. Like I used to do a lot of personal training, and I had a client who used to do a lot of HIIT training, and they were just always ill because their immune system was battered all the time. You know, obviously it can be a lot of fun, and fun always has a place in training, in your training plan. So it's not necessarily a complete prohibition or suggested prohibition, but yeah, more than once a week. And I think you'll find that if you're a cyclist or triathlete or runner, more than once a week, and you'll struggle to find balance in your training. Group strength sessions, there are some good kind of group sort of personal training type sessions, which I have much less of an issue with. The problem with kind of group workouts is they're not tailored to you. And in my opinion, strength training needs to be completely tailored to you. Okay, if you're an endurance athlete, you tend to have kind of quite a small amount of time to do strength training. Usually it's like once, twice a week, maybe an hour, 45 minutes at a time. If you're going to do it, like do it properly and make sure it's tailored to you. But yeah, a group session that's actually kind of personal trainer leading you through, checking your form, etc., much less of an issue, other than the fact that it's not personalised. And it kind of linked to the final question. It's kind of linked. You know, what if you struggle with motivation and those kind of group classes have just been crapped all over by Rich? I think when it comes to struggling for motivation, almost always it's from a lack of understanding or lack of knowledge. So I think the first thing you need to do if you struggle with motivation with strength training is learn what you're trying to achieve through it. And in my athletes, if you're not sure, please talk to me. I really very much want to talk to you if you don't know. But hopefully you do through your screenings and stuff. You know exactly why we're doing things. But if you need kind of more granular information, you know, specific exercises, why exactly you're doing those, if it's not clear or we haven't spoken about it, do ask. Because I always find that understanding why you're doing something is in itself a massive boost to motivation. You know, for some of you guys, why your strength training is pretty serious. You know, you've had historic injuries, you're doing it for prehab, weight loss. You know, we're never doing strength training, you know, whimsically. It's always for a very serious purpose. And so I think motivation, if you don't have it, you know, let's talk about what that purpose is. And then just quickly, if the motivation is time-based, like you're just struggling to fit it in, you can scale it down. You know, if you're really struggling for time, 2 sets instead of 3. It just needs to be enough of a stimulus to trigger some sort of hypertrophy. So even if it's just 1 set, you know, that might well be enough from 1 week to the next. Okay, so do scale it down. It's in the same way you would your endurance training. Anyway, right, so final step of sprints coming up. So, shifting back into the big ring, getting ready to go in 10 seconds. Ready? Three, two, one. Here we go. Okay, last 2 seconds all the way to the end. 5, 3, 2, 1. Okay, well done, guys. That's round 1 done. So apologies guys, just running a little bit over the hour. Needs to drop off. No worries. I'm going to stay on and finish the set. 4 sprints left and then we'll be done. Get another. Says. For another 5 minutes or so, I'd say. Something like that. 6 minutes. They're not long, guys. If you can, stick around. Let's finish this off. Get ready, guys. Round 2 coming up. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Here we go. $15. 10. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Whew. Another 2 over 20 seconds, and then a third sprint at 30 seconds. Nearly there, guys. Few more sprints, guys. Stay on it, you're nearly there. Sorry, 2 more sprints in 20 seconds. Sorry, don't want to crush anyone when they realise there's a third sprint. 20 seconds. And what, 20 seconds. Get ready, guys. Increase the power a little bit. Get ready to go. You're nearly there. 10 seconds. Ready? 3, 2, 1, here we go. Ten. 5, 4, 3, 2, whew. Spin up, guys. Guys, 45 seconds, then we hit the penultimate sprint. So get ready for it, guys. Okay, reset the clock in your mind. It's 2 big efforts left. Okay, forget about everything else. It's 2 big efforts. Spin up the legs. Let's go for it. Lift the power touch. Give yourself something to work off. Ready to go. In 5, 2, 1. Here we go. 15. 10. Last 2 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Okay, just one more bit left, guys. .30 seconds, guys, and then last sprint of the evening. Just remember, it's 30 seconds this last one, so just be a little bit more conservative with that initial kick, just so you got the legs to finish. Don't think about it too much, just go for it. Otherwise, okay, it's 10 seconds. Ready? Big last effort. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. 20. Halfway. 10. 5, 4, 3, 2, 4. Well done, guys. Now spin up. Well done, guys. So just take a few minutes, cool down. Ignore the fact that it says 15 minutes. Just gonna take a few minutes cooling down. Well done, guys. Tough session that. Interesting to see how consistent your numbers are on those sprints. A lot of this session is about repeatability, being able to recover with pretty healthy recovery intervals, but all the same over the course of an hour or so, it really grinds you down. But we would like to see, hopefully, in those that second and third block of reps, some sort of consistency in terms of the numbers. You know, by that point the ego is gone and it's just kind of what you got in your legs, and hopefully you're kind of recovering at a consistent rate between reps. There's not an enormous drop off. Don't worry about it too much right now though. Just spin up, get the fluids back on board, Make sure you have a nice high protein meal after this. Benefit from that elevated muscle protein synthesis after a high intensity set like that. Make sure you stretch. Okay. There you go, guys. We're just gonna do another minute spinning down, and then I'll bugger off. Well done. Hope you kind of enjoyed that. Talked a lot about strength training, some of the basics. And the main message to my guys there is, if you're unsure about anything, just ask and we can show you stuff in our next catch up. It's form, or you need to talk about other specifics. Just can't understand what you're meant to be doing. We can definitely get through it. So just spin up, 25 seconds, and we're done. Apologies for running over a little bit this evening. A frustrating week for training platforms this week. This isn't the workout I uploaded. I don't quite understand what happened there, but it's basically the same. Just had to deviate a little bit. But there you go, guys. That's just set. 15 sprints in the bag.